This is a Nikon 180mm f2.8 ED. It costs about 300 quid used. And this is what happens when you're a careless numpty who doesn't zip his camera bag. 1 meter, straight onto concrete. My heart stopped. The lens cap didn't, just kept rolling down the car park like it had somewhere better to be. There was a dent on the front of the lens. And there was a chip on the pavement. Turns out I broke the planet before I broke this lens. Everything still works. I can't use filters anymore. Lens cap only fits one specific way, but it works. And I still use this lens on professional shoots, where people pay me actual money, which either says something about this lens or my client's judgment. Possibly both. Okay, tilt your head left. No, your left. Perfect. Look at the camera. No, too much teeth. More existential dread. Perfect. Hold it there. Hold it there. That's the one. That's the one. This is what portrait photography looks like when you use a 180mm lens. Here's how it actually works. I position my subject on, let's say, wooden bridge in Ritsurin Garden, Takamatsu's most photogenic location that I have somehow not been banned from yet. I leave them there with my assistant. I then run to the other side of the lake, about 15 meters away, and phone my assistant, who relays my instructions back to the client, because I'm too far away to shout effectively, although I have tried. My clients think it's a creative choice. It's not. It's physics. With my own kids, I just shout across the park. They're used to it by now. Possibly traumatized. Definitely used to it. Hannah, stop picking your nose! I'm not! She was. So, why use a lens that forces you to stand so far back from your subject that you need telecommunications infrastructure just to direct them? Because distance is not a limitation, it's the point. Everyone tells you to get close for portraits, to be intimate, to connect with your subject. And with an 85mm, you are close. You're right there. Your subject can see you, hear you. They are aware. With a 180mm, you're 10 meters away. Your subject forgets you're there. What if your subject's an introvert? What if intimate doesn't mean being physically close? What if it means giving them space to actually be themselves? The 180mm is an introvert's portrait lens. It's for people who don't want a photographer breathing down their neck, invading their personal space, asking them to look natural while standing 1 meter away with a camera in their face. And then there's the compression. At 180mm, the background collapses. The world shrinks. Your subject exists in a bubble, isolated, focused, present. An 85mm includes context, environment, background. 180mm removes it. But here's the paradox. By giving your subject space, you create intimacy for the viewer. The viewer isn't distracted by what's behind them. There's no context to process, no environment competing for attention. It's just them and you. Like a candlelit dinner where the room fades away. It's just the two of you across the table. That's what 180mm compression does. It seats the viewer at the table with the subject. Photographer steps back, viewer leans in. That's the intimacy paradox. And here's the critical thing about focal length and connection. At 180mm, your subject can still see you. They know you're there. They can focus on the lens. Their eyes meet the camera. They're present, connected. The viewer feels that connection. But past 200mm, the subject can't see you properly anymore. Their gaze goes somewhere else, past the camera, through it. And the viewer feels that disconnection. It's subtle, but it matters. 180mm is right at that edge, far enough to give your subject space to breathe. Close enough so that they can still see you, still connect. It's the sweet spot. Any closer and you're right in their face. Any further and you're observing a stranger who doesn't even know you exist. Of course, there's a price to pay for all this compression and distance. It's a prime lens, no zoom. So you zoom with your feet, which is fine because it builds your character and calves. So, what makes this lens special? Well, for one, low element count. You see, modern lenses have 12, 15, 20, 25 elements. This has 6. Why does that matter? Because low element count does something interesting to microcontrast. Since there's less glass for the light to pass through, theoretically, this preserves more of that micro detail and texture. Now, this is disputed. Some say element count doesn't matter. Others say it's everything. I'm not a lens engineer. I'm a photographer who likes the way this thing renders, so I'm picking a side. Element count matters. Feel free to tell me I'm full of shit in the comments. Is this lens sharp? No, not really. A modern 70-200 f2.8 will out-resolve this every time. But here's the thing. Do you want sharp portraits? Or do you prefer beautiful portraits? Because there's a difference. Sharpness is clinical. Rendering is artistic. A modern lens gives you every pore, every eyelash, every flaw in excruciating detail. This lens gives you a person, softly, kindly. And the colors. Nikon's older glass has this warmth to it, this depth. Practical things. Built-in hood. You see, modern lenses will have you pay 40 quid for a piece of plastic you'll immediately lose in a forest. This is attached. It will never leave you. It's loyal. Unlike my ex. Minimum focus distance, 1.5 meters, which means you can get nice and tight headshots with it. And if you stop it down to f4, f5.6, f8, it sharpens right up. Pretty competitive with modern glass. Now, the bokeh looks a bit harsh around the edges at those apertures, so I mostly shoot it wide open and live with the softness. Compromises. We all make them. So, what are you giving up for this beautiful rendering and compression? Well, usability indoors for one. Try using 180mm inside of a normal sized room. Go on, I dare you. You'll end up in the next room. Or outside. Which I did when I used this on an architectural shoot once. I zoomed with my feet so much I ended up across some rice paddies. Client asked why I wasn't closer to the house. I said it was a compositional choice. It wasn't. I just couldn't fit the house in the frame. They loved it. I got paid. Just another Tuesday. And then there's the zooming with your feet, which sounds romantic until you realize you're walking 30, 40, sometimes 50 meters backwards just to reframe. The autofocus isn't fast. It's a screwdriver lens from the early 2000s. On the 800, it's adequate. It hunts. It thinks. And it sounds like a tiny, angry coffee grinder trying to chew through a bag of marble. On Z cameras, like this ZF, the adapter turns it into a manual focus lens, which is okay because the focus throw is lovely. And in many cases, you gain IBIS. And the weight. This thing has heft and girth. But then again, Nikon fitted it with ED. There's a joke here somewhere that I'm not willing to make. But the point is, you can't have everything. But here's the thing about the weight. It survived a 1 meter drop onto concrete. Try that with your f2.8 plastic fantastic zoom lens. Actually, don't. I'm not willing to pay for the damage. The inconvenience is the point. This lens makes you work. And working makes you think. And thinking makes you better. This is a 300 quid lens. that I've used on shoots where people paid me. These are my kids, shot from 10, 15, 20 meters away. Because when I'm that far back, they forget I'm watching. And I get to see them as they actually are, not performing for dad, not aware of the camera, just them. That's worth every inconvenient meter. This lens is one of the main reasons why I still own this 14-year-old camera, because this pairing, 600 quid in total, still beats $4,000 worth of mirrorless for my own needs. Is it sharp? No. Is it fast? No. Convenient? Absolutely not. Is it beautiful? Yes. And beauty matters. The filter threads don't work anymore. Can't use screw-on filters, which is fine because I never did anyway. The lens cap? It only fits one particular way, and only I know which way that is. It's mine now. More mine than any lens I ever bought new. More mine than any lens I've never dropped. Scars make it yours. I've walked approximately 3 miles backwards making this video. My calves look fantastic. My dignity does not. The Nikon 180mm f2.8 ED. Dented. Heavy. Slow. Inconvenient. And yet, one of the best portrait lenses I've ever used. Not because it's sharp, not because it's fast, but because it forces me to keep my distance. And distance, turns out, creates connection. You see, modern gear is convenient. Old gear makes you work, and working makes you better. So if you want beautiful portraits, stop getting in your subject's face. Step back, give them some space. Be an observer, not a director. And maybe get a lens that might survive you dropping it, because you will, eventually. We all do. I'm Greg, I break things. I walk backwards way too much, and I bring dented lenses to client shoots. Now go, be an observer. They say, zoom with your feet. Nobody mentions what happens when you run out of continent.